Hello and good afternoon. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. My name is Matthew Mokoro. I appreciate you all spending the time with us today. We're going to be talking about an exciting topic. It's one that I've been focused heavily on, I would say heavily in the research phase over the last 18 months to maybe even 2 years by now, looking at identifying different ways to give us, the retail traders, an advantage. And what I found is data typically gives the big money the advantage in the markets, all the different data that they have access to. And so me and my team thought about different ways to get close to the same page as some of the titans of investors of our day. So we're going to be taking you through a journey of the data. I think you're going to find it's very interesting and enlightening to see where big hedge funds and private equity investors are really investing, and we're going to gain some insights into how they actually do that as well. So I'm excited to be with you. And what we're going to do is just make sure that initially we do a sound check. I want to make sure everything's working properly as far as the video and audio. So for those that are newer to GoToWebinar, let's just do this fairly quickly so we can jump in on the action. So in GoToWebinar, we're using the question section as our communication channel. Top half of your control panel. Now everyone should have a panel open. If it's not open, it's going to make it a little more difficult to ask questions as they come up. You're going to have to go find it, open it, and jump back into it and go back and forth. So everyone just open up your control panel, and then the bottom half of the control panel that you'll see is the question section. And it's going to be there as our live chat, essentially. Now it's private. No one can see your comments except for you individually. People type in different contact information there, so we want to keep it somewhat, private. We want to maintain all of your information. I've got my webcam going now, so it's a pleasure to have you. So if you can, in fact, let's see the screen. It should say sound check, and you should be able to hear me clearly. I'm going to roll up my sleeves for this event so we can get down and dirty here. Just type a note, say hello, and then I'm going to be able to read your comments out to you. Hey, Michael D, I guess that's you. Claude's with us, EG's with us. Thank you, Sammy. Oh, there's everybody going now. We got Richard with us. All right, so some of you I know very well. I recognize a lot of good names in here, got good people that I've worked with, and I've recognized people that I don't know. So that's fine too. Yeah, it's Sunday. My tie was on earlier. It's Sunday. We won't be as formal on a Sunday afternoon, right? Hope that's okay. All right, perfect. So it looks like everything is up and running, so that's good. I appreciate the forgiveness. All right, awesome. All right, so everything is good there. So we're not going to spend. It looks like everyone here has a good understanding of GoToWebinar. So we'll make sure that we just jump right into the good stuff here. Okay. So when a lot of people think about the titans of investors, some people will tend to think that they have something that we don't, and the easiest way to define that is the money and the assets that they have as an advantage, some might say, to their performance. Now, just to give a sense of what we're talking about as far as the titans is, we're talking about some of the most world-renowned investors in the space. That's what we're focusing on. Now, interesting enough, not only are some of these well-known, here's some of the titans that we're going to be leveraging to give us advantages and opportunities in the marketplace. Bill Ackman, some of you probably know. A lot of these people are also contributors to different, financial news networks and things like that. So you may have heard their names. Some of them are very mysterious. Some of these people here have very little out there in the public world, but my team of researchers have been able to find and really uncover some amazing tactics that are used. in the marketplace. Here's another rush of people that we're going to be following and leveraging here on the screen. So we're talking about well-known names. A lot of you hopefully know who, with Carl Icahn, right? You've got, we had the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that we analyze and look at. So the whole idea here is to follow their lead. And I'm going to explain some of those concepts in a second. But it's interesting to see the type of information. And we're going to get into data. We're going to get into positions that they're in. What I tend to find as a little preview is that they find tops, they find bottoms, and especially in a bearish direction that many people have felt here, it's interesting to see when all of a sudden you see a rush of investments into the marketplace, what happens to that individual stock. Cookie cutter names, well-known brand names come to mind, but there's also unknown companies, not well-known, where you see a spike and a surge of trading volume, and you just scratch your head and wonder, do they know something we don't know? And oftentimes the answer is probably yes. But ultimately, I just want to give you a high-level look at the concepts of what we're going to be discussing today. Now, I know it's Sunday, so we're going to try to be on our P's and Q's. The P's and Q's, just want to let you know where we're heading. I know I want to be on time. If we are beyond the hour, it's just simply because we're having an extended Q&A session. But don't worry about waiting for asking questions. Just fire away. When a question pops up, ask away. I mean, that's the whole intent of this, is to provide you information that you may or may not be aware of, right? That's my goal. I've got some questions on the Russian war. Will you advise on defense stocks? That's a good segue to the conversation here. Not necessarily on Russia or not necessarily on defense stocks, but the concept of what that question really brings to light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get to the charts. We have, tomorrow is President's Day. It's George Washington's birthday, so the equity markets are shut down. In celebration of that, my kids are going to be home from school tomorrow, which is another bonus day with them. So let's talk about, for a second, that question. I mean, great question that came in. It's a common question that a lot of people are thinking about, and it stems from the idea of finding niches in the market. They're also known as sectors in the market. So if you think about the overall market itself, it's really like an organizational chart from any corporation, or all the way down to a small mom and pop store where you have the owner, and then you have the manager, then you have the people working the front desk. If we're talking about a hotel or a simple supermarket on the corner, right? There's a hierarchy of information, right? There's a hierarchy of control, maybe decision making. I like to think about in terms of vision, in the sense of who's leading the direction of that company. Okay, so let's just think about that for a second. So in that term, and I know I have Facebook up. I'm not a Facebook fan by any means, but I'm going to change this over to the S&P 500. Okay, so this is just the S&P 500. It's the most traded stock symbol out there in the marketplaces. All right, so I'm going to get rid of all these drawings. We don't need all this stuff. We can have a clean slate. We're not talking about in the weeds analysis today. Okay, we're talking about holistic data to understand what's happening in the market. So now we're going to be looking at the chart. I've got it cleaned up here. I've got my team here sending me notes. I love it. So think about a simple org chart for a second. On the top half, we have CEO, it could be a president, depending on the type of company it is. Okay, so we'll do Prez on the top. Okay, then you have the next layer down, which is going to be, you can call your VP, sometimes it could be managers, once again, depending on how large, that organization is. So we'll do VP/managers. And then underneath that org, we'll keep it simple. Some org charts, I used to be the chief marketing and revenue officer for one of the largest financial companies in the world at the time, education companies. And, we had a huge org chart. I mean, I say huge in the context of 150, to 200 team members. It was quite dynamic, but we had an org chart. We had a structure, right? And then you have your frontline. We'll call you frontliners. Okay, so this is a classic, 3-tier organizational structure. Now, what does that mean to us in the financial markets? Well, the analogy is quite simple. So here we have the overall markets. This could be large indexes. Okay, so we'll just call this market large indexes. Okay, when I say large indexes, I'm referring to the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the diamonds, Dow Industrial Average, of course, and then you've got our, Russell 2000 is also looked at. Okay, those are large indexes. Underneath here, there's a subset. Okay, the subset is known as sectors. Depending upon how deep we want to go, we can go sectors, we can go another layer down. You can do industries as well, but we're going to just keep it simple and just go sectors, and then we'll go stocks. Now, in this type of look and feel, the reason that traders do this is for one reason, and they're trying to find areas of opportunity in like stocks, common stocks. And I'm explaining what that looks like here. So the simple concept of this top-down investment strategy, that's what this is referred as. You can go Google it if you want, okay? Lots of data around it, but it's called a top-down, meaning we look at overall directions from the top of the chart, of the pyramid, right? That's, is the Dow Jones, is it bullish? Is it bearish? Is it sideways? Okay, if that's the case, then we can drill down into sectors and try to align a specific sector that's hot in that same direction. Okay, then inside of those sectors are lists of stocks. Okay, it's a very simple approach to finding areas of opportunity. Real world example, while the large indexes have been overall bearish, the NASDAQ has corrected over 10-15% as of late. There's been sectors that have been performing quite well. One of those is the energy sector, okay? And so what it allows investors and traders like us to do is to isolate and focus our attention in certain buckets of opportunity. If I see a sector that's very bearish, okay, one of the most bearish sectors as of late has been technology, has been healthcare, and if I want to buy something and have it grow in value, then I want to find stocks that are trending up. I want to find sectors that are moving up, not moving down, right? Simple, right? So how we look at it. So I'm just going to give you now a layer approach, okay? Once we understand what's happening on a top level, and for us here, we're really sideways on our big indexes, and we track that every single week with our traders, but I want to talk more about how do we isolate and focus our attention. Okay, so this is one of those simple approaches. So what we do here is there's actual data that can be found to help us find sectors of strength or sectors of weakness, and it's very simple stuff. What we're looking at are exchange traded funds. So exchange traded funds are literally a collection of assets made up of all sorts of things, right? You could have a sector on gold mining stocks. You could have a sector on energy. You can have some on real estate, could be banking ETFs, meaning the majority of those assets are in a very particular niche of the market or a particular type of industry, and they're all lumped into one overall exchange traded fund, okay? So some, out of the peripheral type of stuff is, here's a simple example. This is MSOS. This is a cannabis, one of the largest cannabis exchange traded funds. It's not one of the largest overall, but it is in this little area. So that what makes up MSOS is a collection of different cannabis stocks. Okay, so if you're into cannabis and you want to know when to buy something, when that overall sector is going to move bearish, then a simple way to do it is to look at the ETF to look for a breakout or a reversal of direction. Okay, it's been quite bearish. If I scroll out a little bit, let's see, a high back in February of this year at $55. Now it's down to $23. Okay, so I don't have to sit here and track all of the different stocks that make up this ETF. I don't have to do it. I can simply come into something like this and get a sense for what's happening in that industry. Okay, so if you want this type of list, this watch list, I'll send it to you, so don't worry about that. So if you want to see a full list like this, I'll send it to you. Type in list there, and I'll send it out to you. Not a problem. I got a question on no volume. Yeah, so maybe my team can answer you. Yeah, so just type in LIST if you want me to send a list of these ETFs so you have them, because there's a lot. There's really 2,000 some odd ETFs, but I don't trade all 2,000. Okay, there's some that are obviously more weighted. They have more of a market cap. They're larger, so they carry a little bit more weight. But I could send a list. So okay, great. So a lot of people want the list. That's fine. So we'll be able to pull that and we'll send it to you so you have it. Now, this presentation today, I'm not an affiliate of TradingView. Okay, this is just what I use. I've used it for a very long time. So this is not something that you have to buy necessarily. You can use a free account. Okay, you don't have to have a paid subscription to do some of this fun stuff that we're talking about here. But once again, I'm not here. We don't need to get in the weeds today. Okay, I don't need to have all this analysis on the charts. Today is about understanding the correlation between focusing on a specific area of the market. We talked about defensive stocks. This isn't like defensive stocks in the classic sense of, okay, market's running bearish, let's move our stocks over to utilities, which is very common. Utilities in a bearish market is typically a defensive stock. It's a defensive move, means we're moving portions of our portfolio into utilities. They usually have higher dividend payouts, things of that nature. So, they're not going to have big breakouts, big movement to make money. That's defensive positioning. We're talking about the companies that actually build planes, build bombs, supply our beautiful armed forces of the United States and, abroad as well, okay? To give you an idea, right, that's a common question. Well, hey, if we're, if there's, a potential war on the horizon, do we go bullish on defensive-based companies? Maybe that's an opportunity. But the data is going to tell us, okay? The data would say, oh, okay, it's time to go bullish. So just to give you an idea of what makes up the large assets of this specific symbol, which is DFEN, it's almost like defense, right? I'll give an idea of the stocks in there. So this is the holdings. This is probably, there's only about 10 or 12 stocks here. This makes up about 70% of all the assets for this ETF. So it's a majority, right? Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, the TransDigm Group, you have General Dynamics, Textron, L3 Harris, okay? Howmet, what are some of these ones? Axon, okay? All of these make up a large percentage of this ETF. Okay, that's a bucket of opportunity. Now, these are all out of I don't trade typically in this range because I have a specific strategy, a way of trading, but I want to give you a sense of what it looks like to drill down. Okay, so that's what that question is hey, with the Russian war about to begin, will you advise on defense stocks? Okay, well, I'm going to find areas of opportunity based on the data telling me that there's an opportunity. Okay, right now it's pretty choppy. There has been movement. So if we just look at just price action from a recent low on the January 28th, so about 3 weeks ago, with the pullback on Friday, it's up 24% in 25 days. It's not bad, right? So there has been an upward move on that ETF, but ultimately it's in this downward trend. So there's nothing that, just with simple analysis, I'm not going to go advanced here because that's not the point for today, but you can see we're stuck inside of this level of resistance. So if we break out of this resistance, that's a data decision. Okay, defense stocks are on the board, right? This is a great example of top down. Does that make sense now, right? So we're using a macro impact to the world, right? A war is, to me, it's a large economic type of impactor, right? And then we're asking a question, where can we find opportunities in the market? Well, maybe defense. Okay. Well, maybe it's energy, right? Maybe it's energy, right? Russia produces, I think, 13% or 18% of the United States oil now. We import it from Russia. Well, if they're in the middle of a war, maybe they're not going to be so apt to send us the next barrel of oil, correct? I don't know. I can't imagine a world where somebody who we're not fans of is going to send us oil at the same time we may be supporting a country that they want, so maybe that goes up, right? We'll see it in the data. Okay, the data will tell us. But there's actually another way to do this. There's another way to do this. Because if the market's bearish overall, right, when the market runs in an actual bearish move, meaning we're making lower lows, lower highs across all the indexes, what happens is you see all the sectors go down as well. So then all the sectors are bearish. Because what goes first? The actual stocks and the company value drives the asset value of the ETFs. So when I showed you, let's go to another one, for example. Let's go to another sector that many people heard of. Let's go to the energy sector. Okay, this is XLE. XLE, very bullish. It's been very bullish. We've been doing quite well in this sector over the last 6-8 weeks. You can see the chart. It's very bullish and has been very bullish for quite some time. Okay, the real last major low was back in October, and it's been on a nice bullish run, especially as of late here in this move. Okay, I'm at the daily chart, so these are daily swings. Chevron, Exxon, SLB, EOG, COP, WMB. Okay, these are make up about 75% of this individual fund. So when Chevron's bearish, Exxon's bearish, SLB, EOG, when all of these are bearish, this ETF is bearish. I just want to reiterate, because some people get lost in the top level. You have to understand that the individual stocks in those buckets drive how much is in that bucket. So if I've got a bucket at 100, right? Let's say it's at 100%. Well, if I go to 50% of water in that bucket, there's only 50% of the water in the bucket, right? If I have 10 stocks that make up an equal distribution of volume in a bucket, right? A price, let's say they're all equal. Let's say all 10 stocks are valued at 10. And if they all get cut in half, how much do I have? I have half of what I used to, right? So that ETF is associated to what I own. So how do we understand where to get in if we're just stuck in the same direction and we can't see any outliers? Well, a huge advantage is leveraging the investors of the world, the titans of our day, because what they have that we don't have typically is massive amounts of time, because it's not them individually. Who else do they have? They have an army of data scientists and data analysts at their disposal. Some of these hedge funds have hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in them. It's not a one-man show, I can assure you that. They have massive assets at their disposal. Okay, it's not only just the cash they have, it's also the people, the technology to get them the information that they need. Most retail traders I know don't have an army of people to help, okay? But if we identify and we see that all of a sudden titans are selling off, if we see hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions from these titans rolling out of positions, reducing their positions en masse, what do you think we can assume is about to happen? If the top traders in the space, the top investors, are moving money out of positions, do you think they're bullish? Do you think they have a positive sentiment of what's coming? Or do you think they have a negative sentiment? Let's just keep it simple. Type it in the question section. Imagine you see hundreds of millions of dollars being closed out by these top investors. Type in, do you think that's positive or negative? What do you think that is? I'm going to turn on my camera for a second while it takes up some space when I'm in the charts. Yeah, it's negative, right? So it's negative. So what do you think we expect to happen in the market? Do you think the market's going to go up or down, right? So we have positive, negative. Let's go direction. You think it's up or down, right? I mean, it's odds are they know something's about to go down, okay? About to go down. What I found in research, and I'm going to show you some of the data now, because I'm really excited about data. I want to really show you firsthand what it looks like. To me, anytime I see that happen, I know that it's time to just pull back and look for the next opportunity, because one of the biggest lessons that these titans teach us is that they look for very specific valuations of an organization. And they're actually quite simple. I'm going to show you some of them in a second. But this club that we put together is a data lover's dream. Okay, that's data with a D-A-T-A, not D-A-T-E. Okay. Data, not date. All right. So to get to where I want to go, I'm going to show you some of the information that's available to us. Let's take a look at some of these titans. Okay, I'm going to show you the peel out. Looking at a basic chart here to help with this, I'm going to give us a cheat sheet. So let's go to we'll use the S&P. We'll use the S&P 500. Okay, let's just look at a daily chart. Okay, this is just a daily chart, open, high, lows, and close, candlestick formations. There's nothing here except for the data. You've seen we had some massive bull runs, okay? And then we started to see some big corrections at the start of the year, right? Correction is a actual defined move down. So fell as far as 12%. 12% is defined as a correction because anything over 10% is a correction. Over 20% is a recession. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say correction. That's a defined definition. And then since then we bounced back, and we're back to about 30% of that. So we're sitting roughly back now with the move on Friday, about 9%. Okay. Would it be helpful for you at these highs to see massive dollars from these titans? If you saw them closing positions and reducing holdings, you think that would have been helpful to you for your investments, right? Of course, right? Of course it is, right? I don't like to use rhetorical, right? But I want to I want to help really walk through it, right? I don't want to make it complex, okay? Simple, right? I'm going to use you all in the room. I'm going to put the list up in here. The promise of joining us today was to be able to see the portfolios of these titans. So let's just do a vote. Just type in, you can use the numbers, you don't have to type out the full names, but let's just see, who do you want to see? Let's go dive into some of these portfolios. I'm going to break down how amazing this data is. And yeah, great question. How would you know what they're doing? Okay, we got three. We got Bill Ackman request. We've got another Bill Ackman. We've got the Gates Foundation. Gates would be interesting. Yeah, we can take a look at it. Okay, we'll look at a couple. All right. So what I want to instill in everyone right now, I'm going to try to set the stage. There's really two mindsets here, or two, I won't say mindset. Let's just say two focuses that you can apply this data to. There's an active way, okay? There's an active way to leverage this data that I'm going to share with you, meaning you're a person that wants to be in, you like activity, meaning you like to get in, you like to get out, right? I mean, not necessarily daily, you're not necessarily a scalper, but you don't want to hold something for years, okay? And then some of you want to hold something for years because you don't want to mess around with the day-to-day stuff or the week-to-week stuff. But you can actually do both, okay, with the data. And I'm going to show you some of those ways here in a second. But there's really two philosophies. There's a trader mindset, which means I want to leverage data to help me over the next couple weeks. Okay, to me, that's a trader. An investor is like these guys and gals who look for years of growth. So they're more so at valuations where they can hit the 100x growth, 100x, 100 times growth. You know, famously, you've got the Amazons, the Googles, things like that, right? That's the famous stuff. But actually, there are some huge home runs that happen almost every year, right? Some 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%ers that happen all throughout the year, okay? So let's go with the first one. The first one on the board. Yeah, I love that. See, I'm a trader with an attitude for long-term investment. Correct, okay? So this data set that we're going to go through now allows you to go both sides, and I'm going to explain that. So this is Bill Ackman, Pershing Square Capital Management, okay? He is interesting. What you're going to find here, I'm going to explain the data that we see just so you understand, and then it'll be easier for us to flip through the other ones, okay? So let me just break down what we're seeing, and then as we go to other titans, it's going to make a lot more sense, okay? So I'll spend more time here, but then everything else will be a little bit more simple to discuss. Okay, perfect. So ultimately, this here, and I'm going to make this a little bigger. So I'm going to make this larger. So holdings, okay? So this is the current holdings, meaning this is what makes up Bill Ackman's portfolio at Pershing Square Capital. This is it, 6 positions. I believe he's got the smallest number of holdings, unique holdings. Some of these have 17, 24, 36. They're all a little different about how many they have. Obviously, how much they have in it is going to be different. So you can actually see the total value of their portfolios, which I find very interesting. But here it is. It's Lowe's, almost 22% of his portfolio. So here's the percentage is in Lowe's. You have Chipotle, you have Hilton, you have QSR, which is a restaurant brand based company. You have Howard Hughes Corp. You have Domino's Pizza. He loves the Domino's Pizza. You can see the number of shares that he owns. All of this here, it says recent activity. So recently he's added this in the form of percentages. Yeah, the last price. And here's the value in dollars of Bill Ackman's portfolio. Okay, so you see on the bottom it says sum. It's just shy of 9.5 billion. And then so this is, so if you want to, let's say, match and mirror Bill Ackman's portfolio, that's what it looks like right now. He's got a 22%. So he's about, you know, he's got 1, 2, 3. So he's really got, I don't know, you could say 20, 42. So 60% across 3 holdings. He's got the other, 40% across the other 3. Okay, so, but if you want to mirror and match Bill, then you can. You'll be able to see when he adds to it, when he reduces from it. When he adds a brand new stock to his portfolio, you'll be able to see it too. So there's actually pretty interesting to see all the Bill Ackman requests. He definitely is a Titan investor, of course, well known, right? But you can actually mirror it. Okay. What I find also very interesting is you can see the activity. So when you drill down a layer to activity, we can actually see what's going on and when it happened. So let's look at this one. I don't know if it's Agilent or Agilent, whatever this is, Technologies. He sold 100% of his position, sold out of it. So if I own that, if I happen to own that stock, I'd be like, if Bill's out, I may be out. All right. So you can see when they close out positions. Domino's Pizza, you can see a buy. So that's when he came in at Domino's. You can see when it happened. It'll drill down even more, so don't worry about the quarterly look. This is for the investor. This is for the portfolio builder in the room. You touch it every quarter. Okay, you analyze what's happening, quarter, okay, let's make any adjustments if we need to. If there's no adjustments, then we're fine. If something comes up like a rollout of a big position like found here, then you're gonna roll that out and you're gonna then move it to the next position that Bill's allocating to, right? I mean, it really looks like he took this rollout here and then rolled that into these other positions. All right, he's like, okay, I'm done with this. Well, let's go look at this. So this is in the third quarter, 2021. Do you think this was at a high or a low? Where do you think the stock was when Bill Ackman sold out? Let's take a guess. You think it was a high or think it was a low? It's the third quarter last year. Yeah, it was at a high, right? I mean, now it's at a low. There it is. Bill Ackman sell 100% of his position. Isn't that amazing? They create highs, they create lows. This is just one example. I'm gonna show you a lot more. Yeah, had to be at a high to sell 100%. Yeah, so good question. I love it. Are you assuming that these people know something? What if they're just taking a chance like everyone else? It's a good question. I would have been more on your line of thinking if I didn't have the actual breakdown of how these investors actually measure up their investments. Okay, let me show you this. So in this club, there's this Titans checklist. So what my team of researchers have done is actually compiled the top investors and their formulas to really break down how they pick these trades and when they go in, when they go out. So for all those Bill Ackman fans, this is an amazing document here. It is all about how Bill Ackman goes through, and this is pulled from his interviews, through his books and articles that have been written about him, and it really breaks down the process of how they actually go through that ultimate outcome of buying or selling, okay? This is one piece, but I just want to share with you, there's so much in here that I think it's value add because it helps not only see what they're doing, but also gives us a taste of how they think about it. Because you can leverage data that I'm sharing with you as just the data, okay? You don't have any interest to understand the why. You just want to know what they're doing, when they do it. The how you're not really too worried about. You want to know when and where they're doing things. You don't really care the how. Okay, for those that want to know how they come up with this stuff and how they evaluate when to get in and when to get out, you can go learn it because we have all this information here, this content to break it down. One of the things that I love, and I'm going to show you one of these back here. So you go into some of these checklists. This is a basic checklist of theirs, but it really breaks it down. I mean, this is 5 different pages of this. So high level, right? The business is simple and predictable. Okay, so they're going through the value proposition. How does this work? You know, when you think, is it simple and predictable? You also got to understand these other facets of it, right? The business has a durable competitive advantage. You know, think Coca-Cola. They have all these contracts with all these restaurants, convenience stores. I mean, they have their displays are at every place, right? Uber, think of Chipotle, cash flow. This right here is really powerful for me when they talk about the business is producing free cash flow. Okay, so they don't just pull willy-nilly. They're going through a huge process, and it's actually very much common sense when you think about a lot of this. But what I love about it is how articulate they are in the method of evaluating. And they have quite a few formulas that they run. The moat is a simple concept of simple in the sense of what it means, right? A moat, right? Remember in the old days, right? You built a castle, then what they do? They built a moat, right? To further surround, you know, protect the castle and their holdings, right? That's the moat. Well, we teach you what the moat is because we've compiled it from all these, the Titans. and I want to give this to you because I think it's very powerful. Invest in companies with sustainable competitive advantages, trading at, and this is where it becomes important, trading at attractive valuations. A company's moat refers to its ability to maintain the competitive advantages that are expected to help it fend off competition and maintain profitability in the future. Once again, think of Coca-Cola, shelf space, pre-existing Coca-Cola fountain drink placements inside restaurants, convenience stores, and more. Trading at attractive valuations. When the market goes through a correction, 2/3 of the time, the end of the correction ends up being a bullish run. 2/3 of the time. The other third of the time, it goes deeper. Okay, it goes into a downtrend. That's historical. So when you see a bearish market and all of a sudden you find it hit support and then it's rallying up, I have access to all of the thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of data points, lining up investments from these titans and seeing the bottoms formed. So maybe they do have some fun in investing and going, you know what, I'm gonna have some fun. This looks kind of good. I don't know, let me roll the dice and throw in $150 million on this up and coming stock. I'm sure they have some fun with it, and I'm sure they have some of their percentage of their portfolio set aside for some fun stuff, right? Some leading edge type stuff. Well, if you think about a stock that has a market cap of 10 million, let's just say, and all of a sudden there's a surge of $120 million, you think that stock's going up or down? Does it matter if there was a long-term forecast that they had all this research on? No, because money moves the market. Transactions move the market. And so what happens ultimately, because I'm a master of momentum and volume and trading, is when all of a sudden there's a spike of activity, do you think these investors know each other? Let me give you a real world idea of how well these investors know each other. Don't worry, I'm going to go back to Bill Ackman. But let me just give you an idea of how well they know each other, how well they trust each other. I had a request for Bill Gates, the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation. Lo and behold, their top holding, you would never guess if you didn't know this. I wouldn't have guessed it. 45% of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is in Berkshire Hathaway. Who's the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway? Warren Buffett. 45% of this foundation is in another massive fund. All right. Right? Isn't that interesting? When I saw that, I almost jumped out of my chair. I was like, really? 45%. So I know they're big fans of Berkshire. I'm sure they're big fans of Warren Buffett, aren't they? Right? The data we see here, so if I just put on volume to give an idea, the volume we see here is not their volume. They have a different book that they run their trades through. Okay. We don't see it. When you see this price action, it's on the way down. I'm going to show you some bottoms in a second. Okay. But we just happen to be on Bill Ackman, and I'm going to go back to it. But I found that was very interesting to see how large of a percentage of the Gates Foundation was in Berkshire Hathaway. So I would think they know each other. Okay. So what happens is when they see, let's just imagine that we had Carl Icahn. Let's go to Carl Icahn for a second. And when we're looking at Icahn's portfolio, also household name to investors and traders alike, right? So if we go to Carl Icahn and we look at his data, let's pull him up. I love him. He's got a lot of confidence in him. He's got 54% in the Icahn Enterprise Fund. So that's no wonder. So he's got over 17. You can take screenshots if you want, folks, because the data is only as good as the data uploaded, right? But you can feel free. You can take a screenshot. Let's see some of his activity levels. There's another one. Look at that. Sold out 100% of his positions for Navistar. I would be out of that. Okay, right? You can see what he got into Southwest. So anytime you see a buy, that's a brand new position. That's a new position. SWX, that's brand new. Adds mean they already had a position and they added to it, right? As it says. You'll see this was Herbalife. There's a lot of news around selling out of Herbalife when that happened. Many of you may remember that, okay? But you see all these reductions starting to happen, reductions of Occidental, added Xerox. You can see reductions in Delic Holdings. You go further back, right? I'm looking for trends. Bought into First Energy, rolling out. You can see all these rolls. What I like to go is buys. You can go another layer in. Okay, these are only buys, so you can very much so focus on just one side of the transaction. You can go to sells. Okay, what was the selling activity? Okay, it's all here. You can see this makes it easy to see. Rolled out of HPQ. Okay, we keep all this data so you have it as long as you want to go back. This, just so everyone knows what we're looking at as we start to really flash. Okay, you see the actual value of the portfolio as it's gone up or down. So here's 22.5 billion. It had a high in 2019, the fourth quarter, 26 billion, 26.5 billion. Okay, right? So you can actually up to 38 billion. Over here, he's always had the majority of his holdings in his own company, IEP. But you can see over here, the second largest. So he was definitely in CVI. This high level look to me is really a match philosophy, meaning I have a few titans I like. Let me see what they're doing. I'm going to follow their ins and outs. Okay. How many of you are more active? How many want to be active or more passive? Type in active if you want to be active, or passive if you want to be passive in your strategy. I just want to get a sense, just so I can help maximize our time today. Okay, so, oh my gosh, a lot more active. Lots of active. Oh man, this is my type of room. My type of room. Okay, perfect. It's like only a handful of passive, everybody else is going active. Okay, so let me show this with you. If you think about all the data here, just to reiterate this for a second, what we're looking at, and the data is being compiled from over 20 titans that make up, okay, these titans here make up nearly $1 trillion under management. They control $1 trillion in the markets with a T. With a T, trillion, okay? Once again, rather than what's the market doing, what are some sectors doing, and then let's look at stocks. We're saying there's another group out here, these titans, with $1 trillion worth of power, okay, with the control, with equity under management, okay, that find alignment. So let's just think about this, and I'm going to show you the data on the more active side of using this. What if you saw 6 titans all add a stock holding to their portfolio within a 2-3 day window? I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you think you would be interested on what that stock is and maybe ride the train? Okay, that's the type of activity we're talking about. So let me show you. So inside of the club, we have this room, this membership area that's called the club monthly data. So every week we update this. This is weekly data. This is updated every week, so you can see what's coming in, what's coming out. We got a question, how do I unmute? Yeah, Kofi, you can't unmute yourself. I have the only mic. I'm the only live microphone here. Monthly data, this is all updated every single week. So we pull all this data from all these different sources and we compile them in by date. Okay, so we know chronologically what is happening and when it's happening and what is being invested. So we can see here on the 16th, very simple to read. So on February 16th, we had these 3 large positions come in. We had almost $300,000 hit SRGA, Surge Align Holdings. Okay, you can see share price of small company, 46 cents. You know, they ended up wrapping up around, I don't know, looks like 650,000, 640,000 shares. This is all transactions pulled from all 20 of the Titans. So we're looking for large transactions that are occurring, and you'll see them listed out like this. Then you have, you know, 500,000 for AMG. Look at all these show up for Reservoir. You've got all these transactions. There's about, I don't know, 302,000. You've got 1.4 million. You see, these are all on the same day. They're just different transactions happening on the same day. Okay. So there's 1.5 million here. You have another, what is that? 300. So now you're at 1.8 million almost, right? Dollars. That's 1.8 million dollars invested on that one day. Corteva, you've got 2.5 million invested on the 15th. You know, what I look for is I look for this. You see this INCY. This is all, see the date? All on Valentine's Day. $106 million worth of INCY purchased. It's a lot. It's a lot, right? When I've shown you all the differences, okay, let's keep looking. Asana, that's a big one. Asana on the 11th, this is on February 11th, $79 million. What I like to do is I like to see this data grouped by stock symbol because there's many transactions that hit. So what I like to see is a summary of the actual symbol in dollars. So same data, just different view. So far in the last 2 months, I think it is, Asana, you've seen $200 million invested in Asana. When I open it up, you can see there's a lot on the 11th, right? There's 80 million we already counted on February 11th. Then on the 4th, we had another 60 million on February 4th this year. On the 28th, we had another. Come on, mouse. Mouse just went crazy. There we go. On the 28th, we had another 60 million. So we had 60 million day, another $60 million investment day, and then we had another $80 million investor day. Are these investors bullish or bearish on Asana? Many of you are probably looking this up when I'm talking, right? They're bullish, okay? Let's go look at Asana for a second. I know what Asana is. Some of you may not, but it's a project management type of technology. So here's Asana. Here's the chart. Okay, this is a $60 stock, so it may not seem like much. What were those days again? Oh, here's the 28th. Oh, wait, what was that other date? Oh, there's the 4th. What do those look like? Anybody technically trained? What do those look like there? What does that price level look like? I think kind of double bottoms, right? Bottoms, right? I told you they create bottoms. That's what they do. Because just between this day was 60 million, this day was 60 million, and then on the 11th, on this day, we had another 80 million shares. In total, that's that 200 million shares traded, 60, 60, 80. They're bullish on Asana. And there is a price move that follows. So the initial investment sizes, even with the retracement on Friday, 43% up. 43%, that first batch. So that 60 million they put into it on the 28th is up 40%. So that's like $26 million on their $60 million investment. Okay. Well, what about their second round? Well, their second round was on the 4th. Okay. Second round of 60 is up 36. So they're up, call it, was that 20 million, 22 million, something like that. Okay. Now they don't scalp. Okay. We don't see a lot in the data of in a position, out of position in days. It's not counted in days. It's not really counted in months. It's more counted in quarters and years that they're in positions. But what stood out to me is the massive investment in a specific time at a specific price. And then seeing that bottom form, that double bottom move, then you see the surge of bullish direction after that stock being down from the highs down to the 28 low, being down 70%. So if you remember what I talked about, the basic checklist, the valuation of that stock, they may believe that Asana is a $144 stock. When they see it on sale for $50, do you think that's going to check their valuation box? Of course it is, right? That's what the whole premise is buying it at the proper value. So when it's undervalued, that means there's room to the upside, right? It's very simple concepts. The data set gives us insights into timing. That's what I found, because I'm active. For those that know me, I like to be active in the markets. Not necessarily I don't scalp the market, but I like to be involved in the market flow, price action flow on a daily basis. So I like to see moves that occur in a 1, 2, 3, 4 week period. I like to see that stuff, right? That's just more my personality type. But the best conditions to trade are bottoms and tops because it's clearly defined. But I find if I didn't even know that data, if none of you even knew the investments into Asana on those 2 days, I would pull up this chart and say, oh, that's a double bottom, right? We should have a bullish move to follow. Well, you would have to just be tracking Asana. You had to have been just randomly tracking Asana to even know that that should be on your watch list or on your radar, right? I mean, how would you know? So this becomes, for me, an enormous advantage to gain insights into where they find value-priced stocks or overvalued, meaning they're rolling out of positions. Yeah, exactly. Makes me want to, because Matt, makes you want to buy call after the quarterly expiration dates. Yeah, I mean, how you use it is where it becomes fun, right? Let's look at some of these. I mean, some of these are new, so they haven't really moved yet. I don't know. Let's take a look at some other outstanding, ones that really stand out. Let's see. Let's go to the board here. So let's see what else we got. That's Asana. It's alphabetical, but I'm looking at, seven or more figures. 7 or more. 1.6 million. Oh, let's see. There's only 2 transactions. So it's a lot. 1.6, but it is a $600 stock. Okay, so that's not a lot of shares for me at least, but if you want to check it out, check it out. 31 million, that's interesting. Duolingo, okay, 31 million. What do we got going on here? Holy cow. Never heard of that company. I know now, but before I saw the data. Okay, that looks like a newer company. I'll show you what those look like in a second. General Motors, there's that INCY. So interesting Valentine's Day to see INCY, 106 million shares on one day. Lord, let's go look at it. Let's see what do you think is going on with INCY? Oh my gosh. All right, so INCY, where are we at? Here's the chart. Okay, here it is. Now we had to pull back on Friday. That's fine. Where's the 14th on this chart? Oh, there's a bottom. It's only been, 4 or 5 days. So it's up 3%, 5%. But what I'm interested, I mean, look at this fall, and then all of a sudden, boom, something triggered, one of the criteria triggered for these Titans to go, okay, time to party. We've got 106 million. Let's go in. I love it at 66. It was at. Look at the upsides here, okay? Look at the top half here. Look where this has been. Where the price has been, the price will go again. Okay, that's just statistics at its finest. All right, INTY is another one that showed up. Okay, let's see what else is jumping here. 19 million Netflix. Well, that was on sale, right? Netflix has been on sale. They believe it too. You got 14 million for a new up-and-comer Toast. You got Vox, Warby, YOU. So inside of this list, there's a couple well-known brands that just jump out to me. Kimberly Clark, of course, but it's not a lot of investing there. You got Hanes Brands, that's a big company. But you do have some outliers here. You got CVS, Corteva is a known brand in the space. Of course, Boeing is, right? But in the last week or so, most of this stuff looks like some potential early movers. I'll send you a link, no worries. This to me is where I really love the data. I mean, I love seeing the quarterly portfolios of the Titans, especially when we start seeing all these sell warnings going off and then going, oh man, 3, 4, now 5 Titans have sold off their Netflix. I want to know that. Or all of a sudden you see 5 or 6 Titans invest in a brand new company. I want to know that. Not even a new company, meaning a new listing. Let me give you some examples here. Okay, so let's go to some of these newer listings. Because the way I like to describe the list, because I love data, for those that know me, know I really love to be on the objective side of the coin. I like to remove the subjectiveness from the world, the opinions as much as possible, though we can't remove them all. But I really define the data set on the types of investments, okay? And let me just use a slide to illustrate this. So there's really 2 types of stocks that I find in the data sets, okay? There's what I like to describe as takeoff stocks. So these are stocks that have been listed less than 24 months. So they're on the newer side of the market, the exchanges as a whole. And then of course we have our well-known brands, our established stocks. Really, that's really the 2 spheres or 2 spectrums that I see in the data, okay? Now the advantage to that is that for Asana, for example, right, it's only been listed for about 18 months, right? And I already showed you what this chart looked like. There's another one I'll show you. It's called Toast, T-O-S-T, okay? These are big moves. There's also Duolingo. So I'm going to show you what those are because you see the chart, see how limited the data is? That's less than 2 years. And then of course, you've got your large holdings, right? I mean, your multinational brands, okay? As we go to these charts, you're going to see these arrows here, and we already saw Asana. Okay, this is just over the last couple weeks, folks. So this isn't like going back to December, 2020, right? This is all recent data. Yeah, but a heavy investment into TOST, okay, that came up. What does this look like forming here? So we had an initial rush here on the 31st. You can see it in the data. TOST is down here. Where are you at, Toast? There you are. Okay, so we had this data set come across. So we had this 14 million come in on Toast. Interesting little company. I never heard about it before. But Toast is in the payment world, payment processing side. So remember Asana and the double bottom formed? Okay, so it looks like we have an initial investment here. Here's the 31st, okay? There's the bar, 31st. We saw the 14 million. We had the spike that followed because remember what happens on momentum. All of a sudden you see a spike, retail traders go, oh my gosh, look at this stock go. Then you have all these talking heads on the news networks going, oh man, have you heard this up and comatose? And they flash the ticker across your broker accounts and they go, hey, largest move of the day is TOST. So then what happens, you have all these bandwagoners, right? You have all these people that are trying to chase breakouts instead of catching them. So then you start to see a rush of money generated from really one investment. You know, it was 5 or 6 trades, right? But that happens a lot. So if there's another buy, so what I'm waiting for is if there's another load on Toast next week, it's probably going to be at and around this $18, $19, $20 mark again. If we get another bottom, meaning there's another spike of activity from our Titans, then that to me is an additional confirmation that they are behind this stock and they are loading up. Isn't that powerful stuff? And all I'm doing is we're compiling all this data and then applying some very simple techniques to how we leverage it. So I'm definitely in a wait and go mode here for Toast. It's a new company. If I scroll out, look, it's a new listing. Okay. Same thing for Duolingo. Look at these bottoms down here, Duolingo. These investments were just over the past couple weeks. See how these bottoms hold? Okay, they're trying to hold up the price. They don't want it to go any lower. Okay. Another one here is My Play Studios. This is a newer company. It's a $4 stock. Look at the data here. This is my active people. Okay, if you want to build a portfolio, you know, you're not going to really look at the week to week. You're going to look at the quarterly. But look at this, 122,000. Now remember, this is not a large share price. It's $3. So they're buying tens of thousands of shares for this stock symbol, the 28th, the 3rd, and the 9th. You see the average share prices of the transactions, 377, 432, 477. Okay, so they're rolling into this position. So it doesn't take much to make a lot on these small stocks. That's why I mean these startups, these bottom, unknown, peripheral type of stock symbols out there. You know, for those that like to live on the edge a little bit, as far as, you know, some I guess more action, right? Some more excitement than, you know, like one of the $500 stocks or maybe Netflix, where you're not going to see, you know, 30, 40, 50% in a short window, right? You may over 2, 3, 4 years, right? But for those looking for those quick pops, you know, that excitement, energy lift, you know, I love finding any of these smaller companies, because a lot of these sub $10 stocks that become $30 stocks, that become $100 stocks in, you know, 6 months into a year. I want to know about it because they must know something about, because we only have so much access. A lot of these investors could call the CEO of Play Studios and say, hey, what's going on, buddy? You want to go golf this weekend? I mean, it's inevitable. They have a circle that's a lot different than many of our circles may be as far as access. So why not leverage the data and back into that access? And that's what the Titan Investors Club is all about, is data paired with the actual mental checklist and tactical understanding of how they actually go through trading, so you can learn their philosophies to investing if you want, or just use the data. All right, everyone's gonna be a little different, but that is, to me, exciting to see those up and coming new stuff that just may not be on my radar, or I haven't heard about them yet. Another one is Clear Secure. This is the Clear at the airports. This is what this company is. I didn't know they were even publicly traded yet, but guess they have been since June of last year. We saw lots of investments hitting this stock symbol, YOU, 24 million. Look at all these transactions, 28, the 1st, the 3rd, the 7th, the 9th. So even though they bought their first rounds at $21 average, they're still buying at 25. You guys remember that from the, was that Wall Street? If you love it at 25, you're gonna love it at 21. Well, if they love it at 21 and they still love it at 25, I don't know, maybe something to think about as a long-term portfolio build. So 21, it's at 27. They're up. Okay, 25, next group. Okay, they're still up, right? But this is a new company. So I go, okay, I wonder what they're looking at. Remember the moat? Well, Clear Secure provides technology platform, enables frictionless and safe journeys using biometric identity. I don't know. What does the big pharma want? Think about that. I don't know, maybe global passports where you just use a thumbprint. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they got the technology. I don't know. I don't want to be subjective, but I see data. The data says that there's a high bullish sentiment, across this stock by the investors, the Titan investors. That's something to pay attention to. And especially at these price points, it doesn't take much to get a return in a short window. $3 move is over 10%. And you can see brand new stock, it's not established historically yet. So we don't know, we don't have all this previous data here to say, oh, I wonder if they're bouncing off a 50-day, 200-day, 100-day moving average. We don't have it. This is why I call these takeoff stocks, because they don't have enough data. Is just the runway before that takeoff. All right, it's just a ramp up to that takeoff. So to me, just having insights into that area for my activity level really excites me about the club. But all in all, for the active, when the fourth quarter, okay, when we started to see it was low volume, then we start the year in January with the NASDAQ, the S&P coming off highs on, and hopefully finding the bottom on the 24th of January, right? Having the ability to not only see the market data, meaning seeing the price action, seeing the charts, seeing the highs, and then seeing all of these retracements go into downtrends. Okay, that takes a level of skill to track the market to know, the market's changing directions. Now, one of my programs, we focused heavily on the energy sector because it was still bullish, and that was a lot of inflation going on that created that bullish, and it's still bullish, but we've been riding a specific sector. Now having an ability to understand where these trillion-dollar hedge funds and titans of investors are putting their money and when is another advantage to get ahead of the curve, because what happens is they find and they start to create these bottoms or tops. Everybody sees, like, you have to imagine there's different levels, right? Maybe you might think level 1, level 2, level 3, right? These hedge funds are on a whole different planet when it comes to the access of data. Bloomberg terminals, okay, we're talking massive data sets where they're able to see every level of transaction. We only see, depending upon our level, what's in front of us for volume and activity. So same thing that we do on the retail side when we're tracking momentum indicators, that's not the volume from the big players. We don't even see that unless you've got the higher tier access. So we're adding another layer to data. And ultimately, this program is not just data alone, it's teaching you the data, how to leverage strategy. So I know I got questions on the program, so let me walk you through it, and then I'll do a Q&A. Okay, we'll do it that way. There's so much content here. I just want to show an active view, passive view, and then I'm going to show you what's in it, and then you can decide, look, this is something I want or I don't want. I mean, just make it simple, okay? So the club comes with these pre-built, these are all pre-built modules, okay? How to build your strategy, developing your thinking and skill sets, setting up your Titan mapping grid, okay? So there's a lot of questions people have. Do I just start trading right now with the Titans, and do I just clear out my active portfolio, create a brand new portfolio? We're going to answer those questions for you, okay? Because it has to be strategic. If you want to follow Bill Ackman, for example, and you've got 20 active positions in your portfolio account, probably not just want to close them out blindly, okay? So we're going to walk you through that process, if that makes sense, right? You're just not going to dump, and then if you're losing, you're not just going to realize the loss just because you want to follow Bill Ackman, right? That we want to learn how Bill Ackman does it, and then time our portfolio allocation so we can do it properly, or at least effectively, without dealing with any errors that may come about. Okay, so we're going to teach you like the thought process of which way do I go. So it's a bigger output than just, oh, let me just follow everybody right now. Well, there's 20 Titans. Okay, there's $1 trillion, right? You got to understand how do I flow through the data. So we're going to walk you through it all. These are pre-built. You can watch them right now if you want to sign up for the club, and I'll explain how it is. What to invest in, right? It's going to be important. You're going to see, maybe you see 5 or 6 or 7 stocks that show up in a week, maybe 10 or 20. You're like, well, what do I do? How do I know which one to go with? So we're going to walk you through that. so you know how to best facilitate running the program. You're gonna learn how to fill it up properly, right? So we don't mess with our current investments all the way. To scale it up, when to scale it up. So scaling a portfolio talks about when it's time to increase that size, right? And then, of course, how to actually leverage the data, okay? The training of actually how to use the site. But these are all pre-built, okay? So this is really your backbone to leverage all the data that's gonna come your way and how to really customize it, because how I use it is gonna be different than how Michael uses it. How EG uses it can be different, okay? We're gonna use it differently, but the core understanding of the data needs to be the same. You're also gonna have access to the Titan Investors Club reports. This is, I think there's gotta be 1,000 pages maybe or more. It's gotta be probably more. And that's built into these reports. Now the reports are more like books in my opinion, but we'll call them reports. But these are massive insights that we've collected, all the way from insights to, you know, how to manage your money, all the different formulas used to evaluate companies, you know, how you use it and how much you want to dig into this. It's going to be all up to you. I mean, some of you are just going to want it done for you. You're just going to leverage the data, which is awesome. And then some of you are going to actually want to get that higher level insight to what's actually happening and when it's happening. Not more so just to follow their lead, but to really understand the process and the philosophy of what they do is all found here. I mean, it's really a huge conglomeration of these titans. And I think it's super powerful, and it's all in an easily digestible format, which I love. So this is where we really dive into the Titan thinking here. So we've got the Titans 100x rule. So this walks you through how to find the next 100x return. Remember I talked about the Google, the Amazons, you know, those are all the glory stories, right? But they actually happen quite more frequently. The Teslas, right? They actually happen more often than many people think. And this report really breaks down the strategy to find them, which is awesome. Then you've got one of my favorites, probably my favorite report, is this 39 investing secrets of the Titans of our day. So it's a collection of mental side focus to tactical formulas to really understand, you know, valuation from the Titans themselves. So I really appreciate that because it's also condensed. So it's a little shorter to consume for me personally. That's my style. But then you have the Titan Investors Awareness Guide. You also have these two special bonus reports with the Investing Secrets of Warren Buffett, the Laws of Success by Sir John Templeton. For those that don't know him, he's been around a long time, right? That's one of the pioneers in the space. So it's so interesting to read older pieces of literature that's still relevant today. We're talking, you know, 100 years, some content, and it's still relevant today. Different scale, different valuations, market caps, of course, but the lessons are there. And so we've compiled those. So those are some great reading materials. I mean, they're big. I mean, to give you an idea, you look at the 100x rule, you're talking 107 pages. So you definitely don't have to run this all in one day. You know, if you got the time, if you got the weekend, but phenomenal content, 107 pages of just, I mean, look at this formula, you know, how to find the 100x stocks. It's great stuff, but everyone's at a different timetable. So, you know, some of you have the time now, some of you don't have the time, you know, for a couple weeks, couple months, you know, so that's why I love this type of combination of learning and actionable content that we can make money with, right? But you're gonna have access to all these reports. We're gonna add more, you know, we have a lot more, but, you know, we don't wanna make this so large, but next thing you know, you're like, how am I going to go through 100 of these, you know, 100-page reports? They're not all 100 pages. Some, like I said, are 30, you know, but it's not about page count for me. It's about content, and you're going to have access to all these reports and all the upcoming content releases that we have. We like to highlight different titans just to get a sense for different personality types, so you can really break down your own approach. Okay, so you have the club reports. This is the checklist. So you're going to have the basic checklist, which I showed you, the 4B checklist. You're going to have the Bill Ackman preparatory mindsets of Titans. So this is more into really helping overcome some of the mental blockers. I love this one here. So this third block here, are you a fearful speculator or an investor when your investment is down? One of the things that is a wonderful marker for whether you're investing or speculating is if the investment goes down. In other words, it goes, you bought it at 10 bucks and now it's 4. Are you excited to buy more? Or are you scared that you made a mistake? And if you're scared, you're a spectator, right? So you buy it at 10, it's at 4. Are you excited to buy it at $4? If you're not, you're a spectator. That's along that same train of thought when I was describing, right, Asana, and we had the double bottom. Remember that? So with the double bottom, great analogy. You bought it, right? You see that extension pullback. Well, if you're excited here, then you're going to buy it again, right? And obviously it's the same price range, but that's that sense of that double bottom forming. Same thing down here, you know, you bought YOU at, you know, let's say 22, 23 bucks. It's at 27. If it goes to 19, are you going to be excited to buy it, right? So this, though, a lot of this I've heard in a way somewhere else. Hearing it from a master like Bill is amazing. But there's so many in here. I mean, it's a great little boxes on just the mental side. But there's all, look, I mean, look, he gives you all of the checklist. You know, you want to dive into what protects it against competition. So remember, this is a combination of actionable intel, right? You know, you've seen, you know, different shows, right? Like Navy SEALs, great show, SEAL team. You know, we have actionable intel, right? Something's going on. You've got actionable intel, meaning we've got to take action on the intel. That's kind of what's here. And then we also have some long strategic placement type of intelligence, meaning let's look at evaluating our next purchase, our long-term portfolio hold, and let's make sure it's built for the long term. Let's say it's built to be here, you know, 50 years from now, 20 years from now. You know, so it really gives you that nice mix between the two broad spectrums. But you're going to find all that. Then you got another checklist here of how to run the monthly side, how to take the data and then use it for yourself. So you're going to have access to that. You're going to also you also have the data. This is up every week. Okay. So every week we go in and give you all the update. This by itself, if you're an active trader, like many said, I'm in already. You know, send me the link. I just want the data. I already know who you are. Yeah, I love it. With all that reading material, I have to buy. We also have 2 more advanced Bill Ackman checklists coming soon too. Yep. Oh yeah, Claude says, I already downloaded all into my computers and created printed version. Yep. I love it. It is a lot though, but I love it. I mean, it's like, especially that, like I said, the 39 investor secrets is my favorite one. I've had to reread. I have like the pages just individually, and I'm able to flip through them. I read them one a day. So I read them one a day as a memory, right? So it just triggers the memory, triggers the thought. You know, in 39 days, I'll go through it all over, and then I'll do it again because you know it takes about a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to read it. But at least it's a stage thing for me, and I like it. But yeah, so this is every week. This by itself for my active traders, once again, is where I get really excited because that's my nature. Is, you know, I talked to my my partner, said, "Hey, can we get the new data? What's the biggest stock symbol here? What do we got?" You know, and he's like, "Well, we're just getting it. We're compiling it. We're going through the data." I said, "No, just look at it real quick. I'm on the phone with him. Just look at it. Just give me the top, you know, 3 or 4 stocks." This happened, you know, last week, Thursday. That's how excited I'm. Like, what's the top one? What's the top trades? And then as soon as he tells me, I'm right on the charts going, "Oh my, oh, there they go again." You know, and you see the rally. Okay, so that's for me. That's not scalping. I'm looking for the next couple weeks. You know, I want to get that initial pop, 2, 3 week, 4 week period. You know, but that's my style. Like I said, you can tell my enthusiasm is more to the active side. But you know, this is power. But just like anything powerful, I want you to be able to control it and understand how to use it. But that's that monthly data. This is where we get into this portion is the top titans. Okay, so this is Warren Buffett. This is Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, so we didn't put this inside the normal group, so we stood this out to the side so you can see it. So here's Berkshire Hathaway. You can see his portfolio holdings. Okay, you can see all the historical, the activities, where he's in, all the buys, all the sells, out of Merck. I didn't catch this before, but that is quite interesting. 9 million shares sold for Merck, Q3. I didn't see that before. That's interesting. Do with the data as you see fit. Charlie Munger. Anybody heard of Charlie Munger? Yep. See their holdings. A lot of finance, some real estate, not real estate, but consumer side. Another finance, USB Bancorp. Yep. So you can see Data Munger, Charlie Munger, excuse me. We could see Michael Burry, Carl Icahn, of course, Sir John Templeton. This is all of his content around there. Love it. Okay, so you're gonna have access to all that fun stuff. Yeah, I didn't catch that sell of Merck. Interesting. And then of course we've got our toolkit. Okay, so there's lots of data. So what we did is we compiled some simple trackers and spreadsheets to help with the data side. We've got the portfolio tracker, so you can dump in your portfolio and track it. You've got your Titan trade mapping, so you can see exactly a format there to use. Then you've got a risk per trade calculation. Okay, so it's a nice bonus. And then you have the scale calculator. So we reference where it's taught. So this is, module 8, module 7, module 3. But then you can simply download these tools so you can, make this process as easy as you see fit. But once again, this is all about leveraging the money, meaning follow the money is a concept. And to me, it's the core concept of trading. Price action is built and generated by trading activity. I mean, for those that know my other programs, that is the crux to how the markets tick, how they go up, how they go down, more so when they go up, when they go down, and how fast they go up and how fast they go down is entirely dependent upon the mechanics of the market, which means it takes buying and selling activity for a price to move. Value goes up or value goes down, not by somebody's idea. It goes by the actual transaction. When you actually walk the talk. When the transaction says, I'm going to buy shares of Apple. That's not you saying you like Apple. That is actually truly meaning that you see value in Apple because you are willing to put your money on the line. That's how trading works. That's how charts work. Doesn't matter if it's a high frequency trading algorithm that's built by a human. Doesn't mean if it's the turtle trader who likes those, channels and they just like to trade spreads up and down the line, right? Doesn't matter. That's all driven by transactions. This, to me, is a creme de la creme type approach because I'm looking at not a specific stock. I'm not looking at a specific sector. I'm leveraging 24, 25 Titans. I'm leveraging all of their investors, all of their research, all of their technology and access, and just simply following where they're going, knowing that they've been around a long time, knowing that they manage billions and billions of dollars. And it's not just their money, right? It's other people money believing in their system and their process that gives them the power to control those assets under management. It's the same thing if I'm following a $20 billion ETF, right? An ETF is the same type of concept. It's got different assets under holdings. This is the Titan Investors Exchange Fund. Think of it that way. But it's only available to you that sign up to join this club. So this club is very simple. And I'm going to go through the pricing. I'm going to get it out and I have a lot of questions on it. I've got a question on volume. All you have to do to sign up is go to the TitansInvestorsClub.com. It is, and I'm going to walk you through it so you can see it. And I'm going to show you how it all works. So when you go there, you're going to come to this page. Okay, this is how you sign up. It's got all the detail you want to see about this program. This is going to be simple, folks. It's return on investment. Okay, so when you come to this site, you want to see the details. There's lots more details here, but like I said, I could talk about this for hours. There's so much content. I wanted to go through the theme. Simple way to walk away with this is you can build your portfolio and follow a specific Titan. If it's Bill Ackman, be Bill Ackman 2.0 if you want. You're going to get all the data to do exactly what they do, when they do it, and how they go about it. When do they add? When do they reduce? When do they close out? When do they add more? You'll be able to see it, and then you can mirror the exact portfolio that they have. Or for my active traders, you can take the weekly updates and really try to follow their wave of momentum that they actually create with their investments, right? So it's really, two-sided, and you can do both. So when you come to that page, you'll see you're going to get all of the modules, all of the data. Okay, the data is every week. Every single week we update the data for you. It's all done in that same little layout where you have the ability to see the holdings, how much, when, what was traded, all that stuff. Okay, all of the library of data. That's all the data of the actual Titans portfolio. You get all the club reports. We've got 2 more Bill Ackman advanced reports coming out in the next weeks. You have the large Titans with Berkshire Hathaway, right, all rolled in there, the 5 to Thrive. You've got the Titan Investors Club, and then you also have the weekly live trading room. I'm going to explain that in a second. Weekly live trading. This is all available for $787 for the year. You're going to have access to everything here. Every week, all of the latest transactions, largest transactions by detail, plus you're going to have this exclusive weekly class where I take you through the data. So just like today, as I'm walking you through it, and I'm showing you what they invested in, what we do in class, and our next class is Tuesday, being that there's no market tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's President's Day. Tuesday at 12 o'clock is our Titan Investors Club live session. So it's every single week. It's normally Mondays, but because of the holiday, we moved it to Tuesday. We don't want to miss the week. So Tuesday at 12 this week, so in 2 days, I'll be with you live every week at that time. And every time we get the data update, I'm going to take you through it, and we'll work through it together as a group so we can all break it down, and we'll work out, do we take the short-term trade? Maybe we take some options if we want. Are we going to build this into a portfolio? We're going to break down, do we find sectors, right? Common sectors. What if we see a spike of energy sector? What if we see a spike in healthcare? Healthcare has been bearish, but if we see a surge in healthcare positions, maybe they found a bottom, right? We won't know until we get the data. But every week, included with the 787, is that update. Every single week live, I'll be with you to break down the data. Then quarterly, we do a massive quarterly update for every piece of data in the Titan Investors Club. That's all the itemized individual Titans we update every quarter. It's just a massive data cleanse. So I'm going to be live with you there too. That's a longer class. That's going to be probably 2-3 hours, because we're going to break down all of the different Titans. But what we do is we look for commonality across every Titan. So that's where we start to have the dialogue and the conversation. Oh my gosh, we see 10 Titans have just bought this particular stock. So it's not just seeing the volume. I also like to see the cross-pollination of investments. So it's one thing to see one Titan. What if there's 10 Titans? To me, that has a little bit more weight than just one, right? That to me is what we uncover through the data, is not just individually, but once again, the cross-pollination power of this. So to me, that's where that quarterly comes in. So this is 2 different types of cadences or rhythms to this program. We have weekly updates live where I walk you through the data. If you can't come live, the data is updated automatically. You don't have to worry about it. But we'll record them. If you miss it, you can go back and see what we analyzed from the data set, the most recent data, okay? Because it's every week, so it gives us time to break it down so we're not just going over 50, 60, 70 transactions. So weekly makes it easier to digest the activity level. So then we can make the next move. Then you have the quarterly. Okay, so I just want to explain some of the cadence so it resonates a little more clearly, okay? But that's not it with this, okay? That's just this program. I've got special bonuses I want to give out to each and every one of you that sign up. So if you think that's once a week at 12, and then we have quarterly. What's better than just having a once a week or quarterly? What if we added 2 more sessions? What I like to do is, for those that sign up, this is our third enrollment. Okay, so our third enrollment period for this Untitled Advisors Club. So for this special enrollment, what I want to do is I want to give you a special bonus where you can join me in my Market Pro Live Club session. If you're already in it, you already have it. But for those that are new to this program, and you like investing, you like trading, you like to be on top of the market conditions, and if you even like my personality, I know I didn't show you a lot of analysis because this is above that type of stuff, meaning the data set's higher than that, then you're gonna love the Market Pro Live Club session. So effectively, twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, I'm with you live. It's in this Market Pro Live session. It's normally paid for, but I'm gonna give each and every one of you a free year with me on top of this. No extra cost to you. I'm gonna ensure I wanna really guide you through your success in 2022. If I didn't work with you in January, I wanna work with you now and into the rest of the year. But I wanna include this at no additional charge. Okay, so, but it's just a bonus for those that sign up. It is a lot of fun. We've grown the room a lot. A lot of people enjoy staying on the market in a simplistic way. So I teach in the room a simplistic way to approach the markets. It's based on momentum. I give you all these different checklists. We have a small little community. I call it small, but you know, it's everyone's got a different perception of size out there, right? But ultimately, it's a fun room, but more so importantly, we're there to provide real market commentary. I drive all the sessions myself. We have lots of interactions, engagement, questions, but ultimately it's about putting it all together. So live sessions, we go through trade setups, trading opportunities. People bring all sorts of different trading setups to me to say, hey, I'm in this trade, what do you think? And we break it all down together. But it's really actionable information, and I wanted to provide it to you in a simple, easy to use format. So I want to include this special bonus. So it's on me. I love teaching. I love being in front of the markets, and I want to provide you a ticket for the next year. So starts today, will end, next year, February. But as long as you're with us, you're going to have access to not only the Titan Investors Club, once a week exclusive sessions, plus the quarterly updates. I'm also going to give you for the same price of $787 access to my Market Pro Live Club session. Okay, so you're going to actually get now 2 more classes a week. I say they're an hour, they usually go about an hour and a half. But we drive a specific strategy in here. So you're also going to learn a strategy to the market that I know a lot of people love. I've got a question for Gwen. For those of us who already member with us, maybe get an additional year. Yeah, I'll take care of you. No worries. I've got you. I already know who you are. I know my clients in this room. You'll be taken care of. Yeah. Yeah, great questions in there. Yeah, I love it. So here's the comment. Putting money where your mouth talks, all action, no talk, with data and education to control money management. Yep. Yeah, so I've got a question. It's a good price. If you're just starting, will you show how to build a portfolio? 100%. That's all in the Titans Club. So this is really unique because I'm combining really 2 core programs. The Market Pro Live Club is not just me talking about market trading, though it may seem like that at first blush, but we run a strategy in that. So it's a strategy that you have access to. You're going to learn alongside of us. I've got a full training site just around analyzing the market. Okay, so it's really going to be building portfolio, as you mentioned, which is what you're excited about. That's the Titan Club. So the Titan Club is more focused on portfolio. 80% of the content, the teaching, education is around building a portfolio, long-term growth. 20% of it is that fun, actionable, weekly update data. The Market Pro Live Club sessions and education that goes with it is more of a swing trading analyzing program. So, you really have both worlds, but the Titans Club is about 80-20, 80% all portfolio growth. How do you build them? How do you maintain them? When do you scale up? All that. So that's probably where you're going to spend a majority of your time. But these sessions apply, I use all sorts of different data in the Market Pro Live Club, but that's more active, engaged trading. We do options in there. We do stock picks and analysis and forecasting. That's really what we do in these sessions. So we've got long-term portfolio growth, and we also have that fun, interactive, engaging type trading. Yeah, Kofi, they're not getting any signals of mine though. That's different, Kofi. Yeah, I'm not sending signals out with this. Yeah, you have the signal program. Yep. They're just getting webinars. Yep, they're getting the sessions. Yeah, so I've got a question on the signal. So this is not a signal service, okay? This is a data service. So the meaning of that is we're going to know what they're trading. We're going to know when they trade it. When you trade it is going to be based upon your portfolio, how much capital you have to invest. Are you going to buy the stock and just follow the trade itself as they did? Are you going to use it to trade the option? This is not a specific type of to the penny stock recommendation. That's not what this is. This is data, and this is analysis, and this is commentary to help walk through the data, and then we can discuss all sorts of strategies around it. But it's not a, oh my gosh, I'm sending you a signal that says buy this second. You may do that, but it's almost like usurping that process. We don't have to wait on somebody to tell us what to do. We're going to learn how the data comes in, why the data comes in, and then based on the data, we can make it our own. Yep. So this special bonus will come in probably like an hour or so. This bonus, but you'll instantly have access to the Titan Investors Club. This is going to be, you'll be registered through GoToWebinar. So this is just a GoToWebinar registration for this club. All right, I'm just going through the question section here. All right, perfect. Got the receipt. Yeah, your login will come in probably just in a few seconds as well. Everything's there. Look, for those that have, I guess I didn't even mention this, but now that I think about it. For those that are new to my programs and to what we've delivered in the past, I do have several people that know who we are already, so that's fine. But for those that don't know the style here, we're very simple. My analysis is simple. I find that based on the results that I've put out there in different programs, I know how to generate profits in the financial markets, and I like to have a lot of fun doing it. I also love to teach. But if you don't know that yet, that's fine. So for those that aren't aware, we do have a 30-day 100% guarantee, money back guarantee. So if you're iffy, if you're not quite sure the data is going to make sense for you, you may not think you know how to use the data, whatever may be holding you back, just give it a shot. We have a 30-day unconditional, there's no criteria. We don't track your logins. We don't track, how much time you spend in the videos. We don't do any of that. There's no checklist or, that's just not what we do here. I think that's the opposite spectrum of where and how I like to run a business. It's just time, 30 days. If at any point in that first 30 days, you're not satisfied, you don't like my voice, you don't like, I don't know, whatever criteria you want to put on it. I just ask you to tell us within the first 30. If you tell us within the first 30 days, then we'll just give you 100%. There's no, transaction fee or anything like that. 100%. If you're not satisfied, just tell us, send us an email, fill out a case, and we'll get all of your money back. We're not going to badger you. We may ask, hey, what happened? I appreciate feedback. We're not going to say, tell us or you're not going to get X. We're not going to do that. So yeah, 30 days, full month. You can log in right now. I have people logging in already. Log in right now to the portal, and you'll be able to see all the content I showed you. So it starts right now. So you have 30 days, go through it, look at the data. You have all the updated data I showed you now about the Titans. Tuesday at 12 o'clock is our Titan Investors Club session. So take a look at the data. You have tonight, you have tomorrow, market's closed, okay? So it's good timing. And then bring all your questions Tuesday, look at the data set, and I'll be with you live just for our Titan Investors Club members, and we're gonna break down the data. So we're really gonna hit the ground running. And then next week, the following Monday will be the standard class. It's just weird because we have a holiday tomorrow. And then the following Monday, we're on the cadence again. We'll see the latest updated data. So weekly makes it nice because sometimes there's 2 or 3 transactions in that week. Sometimes there's like 15, 20. So every week's different. We can't control what they do, but we want to see what they do. And so we're going to break down the data together every week. So 30 days may not seem like a lot. Maybe it seems like too much. I don't know. But when I think about all the data you have access to instantly, right this second, 30 days is plenty of time. You're not waiting for something to come down the line. It's all there in the membership site. So if you didn't know, you have that guarantee. So rest at ease. Just give it an opportunity. If it makes logical sense, on what the data could give you, then let's find out. I mean, it's $787. If it doesn't work, 100% of your money back. I see some questions. Let me address it here. Let me see if I can answer any there. Yeah, good question. Track record. There's not a track record for this. In the sense of a signal service where it's like, oh, they said this is going up. Well, I guess you can see a track record. Here's a way to see the track record. You can actually go in the actual portfolio and see them go from $20 billion to $60 billion. You can see a track record. So yeah, each Titan has its own track record. That may be the way you pick the Titan you follow. You just go to what Titan has the highest percentage growth? Yeah, it's all there, I guess, all the data. So you can see all the track records individually. Yeah, I just don't think I have a signal service. We sell to options profit generator. Some of you seen it. I know a lot of clients here have it already, right? That's a track record based program because I'm saying subscribe to my trades. I'll give them to you. Pay me for them. I give them to you. This is the research. This is it's almost like getting a master degree in computer technology, data analytics for $787 a year. That's what you're buying. Because then we bring all the pieces together in a simple to follow, easy to track modeling, and then you use it. Now I'm going to help you, and we teach you how to use it, right? But it's not I don't want you to buy on a track record. I mean, I think a lot of these investors have their own track records. You can see them all in the data. We have it. So you can actually see the performance. I didn't realize until you asked. That's a great question. But it's all there. So you can track it. Some have better performance than others, actually. I found that. So you can see them. Oh, nice. Happy birthday. Oh, great. Receipt data. Yep. Is it 220 today? Yeah, it is 220. So it's 220.22. Happy birthday to you. I love it. That is your birthday present. Yeah, I think you'll love it. So you're going to get all of the data logins for the Investors Club. You can get in there right now. You should have you should have it all in your inbox. Yeah, so the webinar notifications, remember, it's normally Mondays at 12 for the Titan Investors Club. Mondays at 12, but tomorrow's a holiday in the States. So we just moved it to two. I don't want to lose a week, so we just moved it to Tuesday just for this week. The following will kick in Monday classes. So you'll get notified, I think, a day before and then an hour before. So we'll have it listed in the site, so you'll be able to save it to your calendar. And then then you'll be registered for the quarterly event. So quarterly, then you have weekly. Okay, but that's plenty of time. I think it's not till March. I think March 4th or 5th is the next quarterly update. But we'll get you all registered automatically. Yep, no worries. Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to make sure I'm missing this one. I love it. Icy on Valentine's Day. That's my chocolate candy money. Yep. Let's see. I've got a question on. I know I already answered that question. I got that one. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you're good to go. Yeah, if you've signed up, let me know. I want to make sure you get all the invitations. I like to check out. So just type in me if you signed up. I know I have my team watching it, but I like to just see in here just to make sure I can. If there's anyone had any questions or if you need help, let us know. Seems like everyone came through fine. And no one had any. There's always one or two people that may run into an issue, but it's technology. It happens everywhere. But what I like to do different, I'd rather see it now than, have you wait, do a case. So if I'm here with you, just let me know, and I can always find out if you need to reset a password or anything like that. I can facilitate that with my team. Perfect. Yep. Yep. I know a lot of you, have signed up last week in our second enrollment. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we like to do this very close window. So, if you've seen our other, programs, we like to keep these groups, at least for me, I like to keep them in a specific cadence because it's a journey. So having a fairly close start point, makes it important, so this third round is only through, let's see, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, this expires. Okay. So you can see the data, if you've seen any Agora offers or all these other, groups out there, the data that's provided, the content, I've been around a long time. I would say ours is about 10 times the data. So I know you may think, well, that price is so low compared to this. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's just how they like to do business, but we like to keep things very specific to what we focus on, which is providing you all the trading support, the data, because this has just been data driven really and technology side here, but you're going to learn how to implement all of this data. So you're not left alone. If you're new, if you're not new, we've got tons of content in our different webinars to help support you to get to where you want to be. So you don't have to be a master trader by any means. I think you're going to really enjoy the Market Pro Live Club. We have lots of content, like I've said, around, how to even trade options. If you're new to options, I've got classes on that are in the actual webinar support page. So it's a whole nother level to those active traders. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you all. So this week, like I said, is different because of the holiday, but Tuesday at 12, you'll all get the invitation. All right. And just remember, you've got that 30-day guarantee. If you don't think it's for you, I don't know, maybe life changes. I don't know, maybe you've got to move or something comes up in your personal life, or business life. Let us know. We could pause it. We could put your membership on hold, or if it's just, hey, it's not going to happen anytime soon, then we'll have to issue a refund. I mean, that's the promise we made. That's the promise we'll keep. But I think that's ultimately the most important thing is just to be there for you. And if you've got to go, you've got to go. We're not going to fight you. We're not going to hold you back. We'll miss you, okay? But we also know, you can't make everyone happy. And I don't say that negatively. I say that with the utmost positivity I can behind it, right? I mean, personality is a lot when it comes to learning from somebody, for somebody being your mentor, to follow somebody. I think personality plays a big part in learning from that individual. So maybe, our personality doesn't match, right? Or maybe my cadence of speaking is too fast. It's just personality to me, I think, is undervalued, and I think it should be more of a dominating factor to who you work with, because there's many great traders in the space on the retail side to teach and coach. I think for them to have a successful track record, they have to have some ability to trade, some way to make money. But what it most often comes down to is, does it resonate with you? So the data set here is as clean or as complex as you want to make it. I like to keep it simple. So I'm going to be there with you to guide you through the data every single week. And then if you need help on some basics of how to open an account, how to place a trade, I've got content for you to help, okay? If you want to learn how to analyze a market, know how to find trend direction on your own, I've got lessons to help you in the Market Pro Live Club. So it's really a combination of the best of both worlds: long-term position, data holds, portfolio growth, and you can have some fun on some in and out type trade. It's just however much time you want to devote is what you're going to get out of it. So I hope you're active. Hope I see you in the class, which I always enjoy meeting new people, encouraging more people, helping people achieve success, of course. So I'll be looking forward to that. Tuesday at 12, I'll be with you all. So thank you for joining us. We'll make sure we get the link out to you. I saw a lot of people want the ETF list, so I'll make sure I get that out to those that requested it. And that way you can get that sector list. You don't have to try to recreate it yourself. So appreciate you all. Happy trading. I'm gonna leave the webinar open. So if any of you run into any login issues, feel free to just type it in there. I don't think you should, but if you do, I'll keep it open a few minutes. But if not, make sure you go to tinyinvestorsclub.com, get all signed up, and then we'll get you all squared away. But you can literally get into the data this moment, right now. There's nothing to wait for. You can start breaking down the data more than I did. It's to me, it's like Christmas every week. It's like my birthday every week. I'm literally calling my team saying, do you have the data? Is the data ready? Oh, we're gonna have it on the site. No, can I have a sneak peek? Can I get the data? It can be rough, but I literally did that just this last week. So it's my little birthday for myself. I want to see the data. All right, yep, 10 times data is more like 100 times stuff data. Yeah, he's already a member, but yeah, it's a lot. But I think it's gonna help. We'll be there with you Tuesday. Let's break it down into bite-sized pieces, and then we can have some fun with it. So appreciate it all. Happy trading to you. Have a fantastic President's Day tomorrow. Enjoy the extra day off for my active traders. And then we'll be back at it Tuesday. So all my people signing up, Tuesday at 12. This offer, the 787, is, let's see, it's I think it's Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Thursday or Friday, I think they have the team. So these enrollment periods are short, and we do that because I want to keep everyone condensed together. It's easier to teach. Everyone starts at around 1. I want to get to people at 10 within a couple months. So 0 to 10 proficiency. Having somebody that's just comes in while I'm trying to work on 7 to 8 is very difficult in a class. So that's why we stagger these, and we have very precise enrollment periods. So if you've seen us before and you said, I'll wait for the next one, we haven't done the last one yet. We haven't even done another options profit generator. So if you saw that and you're waiting, we're probably months away from that. Don't let yourself miss out on the next couple months, especially coming off a bearish move, because the bottoms are found, as I showed you, with the Titans. You do not want to wait. 787, invest it today. In 30 days, let's see if it made sense for you. If it made sense, then stick with it. If it doesn't for some reason, just let us know. So don't make the purchase today. All you're doing is putting, just think of it as a down payment. Okay, I'm going to put a down payment, 787. Let me see what you got. I'm going to consume the data. I'm going to go to class on Tuesday. I'm going to see it the next Monday. I'm going to see it the next Monday and then the next Monday. That's 4 live classes. That's 4 data updates. I showed you Asana went up 40% in less than 2 weeks. Okay, I've shown you several stocks already that went up 3-4% in just a couple days. Okay, if we can't make money with this, if that's your criteria of making money in 30 days, then hey, then I guess we need to do our job, get 100% of your money back. If your criteria is, wow, I want to learn something, I really want to see some insights that I could never find anywhere else before, download it now, buy it now, and see. If it doesn't work, at least you learn something. If you download it, we can't take it back, can we? You downloaded the report. We can't take a download report back. Okay, you won't get future reports, right? So that's all it is. And if 787 is out of the range, I can assure you what you've seen today is about 10 times, because I know I've been in the industry a very long time, 10 times what you will receive at a third of the price that you will have to buy, unfortunately. For those that know me, you know that we like to price ourselves in a way that makes it affordable, but yet does not infringe upon the value. Okay, so I assure you that. So give us 30 days. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Other than that, for those that already know me, I already see very much so people that I know already signed up, so I'm excited. But there are people that are new, so I just want to let you know that you do have an out. I don't want you to leave us, but if you do, you have a way. Okay, so just rest at ease. But other than that, have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back with you Tuesday. It's always a pleasure. Thank you all. Stay safe, and I'll see you on our next event.